Sorry. Bullseye, move that coffee table out of here, John instructed. Now Mark was confused. Why would John care if the coffee table got blood on it? John's sniper did as he was told and then turned to his spot, never getting close enough for Mark to grab him. Okay, you son of a bitch, John said, smiling as if he were joking. Last time we fought, you beat me with that kung fu shit. John walked carefully over to his accomplice and handed him not only his pistol, but Mark's too as well. This time, it's going to be a little different. I've been training hard for this, and I'm going to kill you with my bare hands. Bullseye here is not just a hell of a shot. He was a Golden Gloves champion back in the day, and he's been working with me. Said he's never seen hands as fast as mine. Isn't that right, Bullseye? That's right, Bullseye agreed. Mark had seen John's speed, and while fast, he had seen faster, and he suspected Bullseye had too, but he knew his 40-something-year-old hand speed was no match for John's. He wondered why John didn't want all of his men to see this. He almost taunted Big O with that question, but he thought better of it. If John brought more men in, he'd have no chance to escape. He did think of another question to ask. John, I saw you punch one of your guys, and you're right, you do have the fastest hands I've ever seen. I remember when you punched me before you started training. I knew it was coming, and I couldn't block it. You're way faster now. So what do we need Bullseye for? Send him outside, and we'll finish this like men. John laughed hysterically again. You think you've got a chance to beat me, don't you? Blowing all that sunshine up my ass. Good, I'm glad you think so. You'll fight harder that way. No, I think we'll keep old Bullseye right where he is just in case something goes wrong. Maybe John wasn't as confident as he appeared. Maybe that's why he sent everyone else outside. Maybe Mark could goad him into having Bullseye leave, too. What's the matter, John? You afraid I might kick your ass again? I ain't fighting you until he leaves. John, who in the past would have lost his cool at the taunt, must have learned a little self-control since he'd been away. Oh, you'll fight. You'll fight. Or I'll drag your ass outside and kill everyone I have locked up in your shed one by one until you agree to fight. Understand? He asked with ice in his voice. He waved his hand at Bullseye, and the man moved across the hall into the dining room. That position would make it extremely hard for Mark to get to the man with the guns. Okay, Mark answered, changing tactics, but if I fight, you have to promise to let my family go. John laughed again, this time louder and longer than the last. Sure I will, he replied sarcastically. You're in no position to be demanding anything. The only thing I'll promise is that they'll live, at least for a while. Now let's go. John stepped back into the traditional boxer stance. By contrast, Mark moved his left foot behind him. This placed his best kicking leg in front, and he hoped the different stance might confuse John a little. If he steps into the hardwood in the hall, kill him, John said to Bullseye. Mark slowly circled, staying just out of John's reach. Perhaps he could stun John and use him for a shield. He stepped in and threw a single jab at John. John blocked it and countered with a jab of his own that caught Mark just above his right eye. Mark, although he thought he was prepared for it, was shocked at the speed of the punch. Fortunately, it hadn't landed with enough force to daze him. Mark slowly circled back the other way, looking for any weakness his opponent might show. He threw another jab and watched as John's hand flew to intercept the punch. This time Mark backed out before John could retaliate. Mark wondered how John would react to a three-shot combination. He sidestepped in and struck his target with a back fist strike, followed by a punch ending with a ridge hand strike to the side of the head. The first two techniques were blocked, but the third found its intended target. Mark paid dearly for the brief victory, as a left jab hit him in the chest and a right cross found the same spot above his eye that the first exchange had. Mark felt a trickle of blood coming from that spot. Good, John taunted. You're a bleeder. I like bleeders. Mark tried to take advantage of John flapping his lips instead of fighting. He stepped in quickly, locking his leg out into a side kick at John's midsection.